The Senate will come to order. Mr. Carpenter, please call the roll.
Senators Bridges,
Excuse.
Cook, Corum, Crowder, Danielson, Donovan, Finberg, Fields, Foote, Gardner, Janal, Gonzalez, Hanson, Hill, Heisey, Holbert, Lee, Lundeen, Marble, Moreno, Pedersen, Priola, Rankin, Rodriguez, Scott, Smallwood, Sonnenberg, Story, Tate, Todd, Williams, Winter, Woodward, Zenzinger. Mr. President.
Here, with 34 present, 0 absent, and 1 excuse, we have a quorum. Senator Todd. Senator Todd, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd be delighted to. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of the Journal. Senator Priola.
Good morning, Mr. President. Members, I move the reading of the Journal of Wednesday, March 11th, 2020 be dispensed with and the Journal be approved as corrected by the Secretary.
You have heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion is adopted. Senate Services.
Correctly reading Rose, Senate Bill 23, 33, 42, 57, 96, 104, 110, 130, 165, 178, 184. Correctly revised House Bill 1029, 1030, 1093, 1095, 1101, 1148, 1155, 1161, 1167.
Committee reports.
March 11th, 2020, Committee on Health and Human Services, Ethics, Service and Marriage Committee following House Bill 1086B minutes as follows. Also, amended be referred to Committee on Appropriations with a favorable recommendation. March 11th, 2020, Committee on Business, Labor, Technology, Ethics, Service and Marriage Committee following House Bill 1136 be referred to Committee to hold a favorable recommendation. March 11th, 2020, Committee on Business, Labor, and Technology, Ethics, Service and Marriage Committee following House Bill 1165 be referred to Committee to hold a favorable recommendation. Recommendation placed on the consent calendar. March 11th, 2020, Committee on Business, Labor, Technology, Ethics, Service and Marriage Committee following House Bill 1039 be referred to Committee to hold a favorable recommendation. Recommendation placed on the consent calendar. March 11th, 2020, Committee on Business, Labor, Technology has had in consideration ahead of the following appointments, circumstances, appointments placed on the consent calendar. Confirmed members of the Colorado Banking Board effective July 1st, 2019 for terms expiring July 1st, 2023. Taylor Colton McElmore of Denver, Colorado, serves Representative Public appointed. Sarah J. Octolani of Denver, Colorado, serves Representative Public reappointed. March 11, 2020, Committee on Business, Labor, Technology has had in consideration ahead of hearing on the following appointments and recommends appointments be placed on the consent calendar and confirmed. Member of the State Plumbing Board for term expiring July 1st, 2023, Kevin Thomas Roy of Littleton, Colorado, serves Representative General Contractors and Affiliated appointed. March 11, 2020, Committee on Business, Labor, Technology has had in consideration ahead of hearing on the following appointment and recommends appointment be placed on the consent calendar and confirmed. Member of the State Electrical Board for term expiring July 1st, 2022, Christopher Huntington Butler of Highlands Ranch, Colorado, member of the public at large, appointed March 11, 2020, Committee on Education, Ethics, Service and Marriage Committee following House Bill 1280, be referred to Committee to hold a favorable recommendation. Recommendation placed on the consent calendar. March 11, 2020, Committee on Education, Ethics, Service and Marriage Committee following House Bill 1275, be referred to Committee to hold with a favorable recommendation. March 11, 2020, Committee on Judiciary has had in consideration had hearing of the following appointments, circumstances, appointments placed on consent calendar. Confirmed members of the State Board of Parole. Effective July 8, 2019 for term expiring July 30, 2021. Michelle Marie Gang of Colorado Springs, Colorado, serves citizen representative appointed. Effective July 1st, 2019 for term expiring July 30, 2022. Joe Martin Morales Park, Colorado, serves representative law enforcement reappointed. Darlene Ann Alcala of Pueblo, Colorado, serves citizen representative appointed. Effective July 8, 2019 for term expiring July 30, 2022. Chad Delwith of Lafayette, Colorado, serves citizen representative as the vice chair appointed. Jason Cook of Highlands Ranch, Colorado, serves citizen representative appointed. March 11, 2020, Committee on Judiciary, Ethics, Service and the Marriage Committee recommends the following. House Bill 1270 be referred to Committee of the Whole with a favorable recommendation. March 11, 2020, Committee on Judiciary, Ethics, Service, and Merits Committee the following. Senate Bill 181 be amended as follows. Also amended be referred to Committee on Appropriations with a favorable recommendation. March 11, 2020, Committee on Judiciary, Ethics, Service, and Merits Committee the following. Senate Bill 162 be amended as follows. Also amended be referred to Committee on Appropriations with a favorable recommendation.
Message from the House.
House is passed on third reading with revised statutes. House Bill 1179, 1118. The House is passed on third reading with revised statutes. House Bill 1216 is amended from the House Journal, March 11, 2020. The House is passed on third reading. Returns here with Senate Bill 114 and 134.
Message from the Reviser.
We herewith transmit without comment House Bill 1118 and 1179 without comment as amended House Bill 1216.
Introduction of resolutions. Mr. Carpenter, please read the title to SJR 019.
Senate Joint Resolution 19 by Senators Cook and Janal and Representative Carver concerning declaring the week of May 10th through the 16th, 2020 as Police Week and in connection with declaring May 15th, 2020 as Peace Officers Memorial Day.
Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move Senate Joint Resolution 019 layover until April 9th.
You have heard the motion to lay over Senate Joint Resolution 019 until April 9th, 2020. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the motion is adopted. Senate Joint Resolution 019 will lay over until 4/9/20 and retain its place on the calendar. Mr. Carpenter, please read the title to SM 20-002.
Senate Memorial 2 by Senators Heising and Garcia memorializing Congress to recognize correctional workers at the Federal Correctional Complex in Florence, Colorado in connection therewith to provide fair and uninterrupted compensation for their essential work during federal government shutdowns.
Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move Senate Memorial 002 layover until Thursday, March 19th.
The motion is to lay over Senate Memorial 002 until March 19th, 20. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and Senate Memorial 002 will lay over until March 19th, 2020 and retain its place on the calendar. Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the Senate proceed out of order for a very delicious moment of personal privilege from the good senator from Denver.
You have heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have, and the motion is adopted. The Senate will proceed out of order for a moment of personal privilege for the good senator from Denver. Senator Gonzalez.
Thank you, Mr. President. I request a moment of personal privilege.
Granted.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, it is my honor and privilege to be able to present to you some incredible and fantastic women this morning. And I have a tribute that I'd like to read to acknowledge their amazing work. The Colorado Senate convened in the second regular session of the 72nd General Assembly hereby extends heartiest congratulations and commendation to the owners and employees of El Taco de Mexico for receiving the highly prestigious James Beard Foundation Award. El Taco de Mexico is located in the heart of Denver's Santa Fe Arts District and is a representation of Nuestra Herencia Mexicana. First opened as a small aluminum 17-seater building in 1985 by Mexico City native Maria Luisa Zanabria, El Taco de Mexico has grown into the vibrant, bright yellow taqueria it is today. The kitchen is run by all-female cooks who make hundreds of delicious burritos and tacos smothered in pork green chili every day. 2 years ago, Maria Luisa Zanabria's daughter, Sasha Zanabria, took over the management of the restaurant, and in so doing, preserved and expanded the legacy of this beloved institution. El Taco de Mexico is the first restaurant to receive the James Beard Award in Colorado, and just one of the 156 restaurants across the nation to receive this award since its inception in 1998. As members of the Colorado State Senate, we commend and thank Maria Luisa Zanabria's daughter, Sasha Zanabria, and the employees of El Taco de Mexico for preserving the diversity and culture of the Santa Fe Arts District and providing Coloradans with scrumptious food for over 35 years. Your success serves to exemplify the contributions that immigrant communities make to the strength and vitality to all of Colorado. On request of Senator Julie Gonzalez, given this 12th day of March 2020, State Capitol, Denver, Colorado, signed President of the Senate, Leroy M. Garcia. Members, please be seated. I also want to, in order to honor and recognize the contributions of these immigrant women, I also want to read this tribute in Spanish. La membresía del Senado de Colorado orgullosamente extendemos nuestras felicitaciones a las dueñas y empleados del Taco de México por haber recibido el reconocimiento prestigioso de la Fundación James Beard. El Taco de México está ubicado en el centro del Distrito de Arte de la calle Santa Fe y representa nuestra herencia mexicana. Desde su inicio humilde como una lonchera en el 1985, empezado por una mujer emprendedora nativa del DF, María Luisa Zanabria, el Taco de México hoy en día se ha establecido como la taquería radiante a María. La cocina es dirigida por cocineras que cada día hacen cientos de burritos smothered por el chili verde. Y hace 2 años que Sasha Zanabria, la hija de María Luisa, empezó como gerenta del restaurante y a la vez mantuvo y expandió el legado de esta institución. El Taco de México es el primer restaurante que ha recibido este reconocimiento en el estado de Colorado y solamente 156 restaurantes en todo el país han recibido este premio desde que iniciaron en el 1998. Entonces, como miembros del Senado Estatal de Colorado, les aplaudimos y les agradecemos a la señora María Luisa Zanabria, la señora Sasha Zanabria y a todos los empleados del Taco de México por mantener la diversidad y cultura del Distrito de Arte de la calle Santa Fe, de todo Denver, y por proveernos comida deliciosa por más de 35 años. Su éxito es un ejemplo de todas las contribuciones que da la comunidad inmigrante que hace todo Colorado más fuerte. Thank you, members. I want to just invite the women associated with El Taco de Mexico to please stand, and I'd like to invite the members of the Senate to extend our congratulations. El Taco de Mexico. El Taco de Mexico. Yes.
Senator Marble.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just have a little recommendation for the Senate, and that is if we get into budget week or any of those long days where the Senate Secretary orders lunch, perhaps we can order it from El Taco de Mexico. I think that would be wonderful. Thank you for being here.
That is a great suggestion from the good senator from Fort Collins, and to help contribute to that effort, you will be fined $3 for not requesting a moment of personal privilege. The Senate will stand in a brief recess to welcome our guests. The Senate will come back to order. Third reading of bills. Third reading of bills. Mr. Carpenter, please read the title, third reading of bills, final passage to House Bill 1078.
House Bill 1078 by Representatives Hakas, Lewis, and Mellicone, Senator Winter, concerning prescription drug claims submitted by a pharmacy and in connection therewith prohibiting retroactive fees.
Senator Winter.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for the passage of House Bill 1078, and I request permission for a third reading amendment.
Will the good senator from Westminster please explain the reason why the Senate should grant permission to offer a third reading amendment?
Thank you, Mr. President. I am asking for permission for the third reading amendment. We passed a second reading amendment that allowed pharmacies to benefit from performance-based contracts, and we didn't get the language quite correct. And so we are correcting it on third reading to clarify.
The question before the body is to allow the good senator from Westminster permission to offer a third reading amendment. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and permission is granted. There's an amendment at the desk. Will the clerk please read Amendment L010?
Amendment L010, House Bill 1078 by Senator Winter, amend revised bill, page 2, line 6, after 1, insert A, page 2, strikes lines 9 and 10, and substitute the same pharmacy services. B, the subsection 1 does not prohibit a pharmacy benefit management firm from reimbursing an affiliate for satisfying the terms of a performance-based contract.
Senator Winter.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for the adoption of Amendment L0110. This is to make sure that performance-based contracts can be honored, and pharmacies and pharmacists that are performing can be paid more from the PBMs than what's in their contract. This is a good amendment to clarify language we try to do on second reading, and I urge aye vote.
Is there any discussion regarding Amendment L0102 to House Bill 1078? Seeing none, the motion before the body is the adoption of this amendment, L010. Are there any no votes? With a vote of 34 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, 1 excused, Amendment L010 is adopted. To the bill. Senator Winter.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for passage of House Bill 1078 as amended on third readings.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, the motion is the passage of House Bill 1078 on third reading and final passage. Are there any no votes? Mr. Minority Leader, Senators Marble, Lundin, Hill, Cook, Smallwood, Scott, Tate, Gardner, Rankin. With a vote of 24 ayes, 10 no votes, 0 absent, and 1 excused, House Bill 1078 is passed. Co-sponsors. Senators Moreno, Janal, Danielson, Pedersen, Crowder, General order, second reading of bills, consent calendar. Senator Foote.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate resolve itself into the Committee of the Whole for consideration of general orders, second reading of bills, consent calendar.
You have heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have the motion is adopted. The Senate will resolve itself in the Committee of the Whole for consideration of general orders, second reading of bills, consent calendar, and Senator Foote will take the chair.
The committee will come to order and the court rule is relaxed. Mr. Carpenter, will you please read the title of all the bills on the general order, second reading of bills, consent calendar?
House Bill 1229 by Representative Mateo and Senators Cook and Bridges concerning authorizing the Peace Officer Standards and Training Board to establish a scholarship program for law enforcement agencies with limited resources to assist the agencies with the payment of tuition costs for peace officer candidates to attend an improved basic law enforcement training academy. House Bill 1036 by Representatives Arndt McKean, Senators Woodward and Zinzinger, concerning the addition of references to licensed emergency medical service providers and the Emergency Medical Service Providers Peer Health Assistance Program statute to align the statute with legislation enacted in 2019 that authorized certified emergency medical service providers to seek licensure.
Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move for the adoption of all the bills on the consent calendar and their associated committee reports, which includes House Bill 1229, along with the Judiciary Committee report and House Bill 1036.
Is there any discussion of any of the committee reports on the consent calendar? Seeing none, the motion before the body is the adoption of all the committee reports on the general orders, second reading of bills consent calendar. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The ayes have it, and all the committee reports are adopted. Is there any further discussion on any of the bills on the consent calendar? Seeing none, the motion before the body is the adoption of all the bills on the general orders, second reading of bills consent calendar. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The ayes have it, and all the bills are adopted. Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move the committee rise and report.
The motion is for the committee to rise and report. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed no. The ayes have it, and the motion is adopted. The committee will rise and report.
Senate will come to order. Senator Foote.
Thank you, Mr. President. The committee has had a number of bills under consideration. Will the clerk please read the report?
Mr. President, your committee will hold begs lead reports that are considered the following House bills being second read and makes the following recommendation. Number 1, House Bill 1229 is amended. House Bill 1036 passed on second read or revised, please count it for the ring and final passage.
Senator Foote.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the report.
The motion is for the adoption of the committee of the whole report. Are there any no votes? With a vote of 34 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, 1 excused, the committee of the whole report is adopted. House Bill 1229 is amended. House Bill 1036 passed on second reading and ordered revised and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. General order, second reading of bills. Senator Foote.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate resolve itself into the committee of the whole for consideration of general orders, second reading of bills.
You have heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The aye has it. The Senate will resolve itself into the committee of the whole for consideration of general orders, second reading bills, and Senator Foote will take the chair.
The committee will come to order and the code rule is relaxed. Mr. Carpenter, will you please read the title to House Bill 1158?
House Bill 1158 by Representatives Tipper and Harrod, Senators Winter and Finberg, concerning insurance coverage for infertility and in connection therewith making an appropriation.
Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move House Bill 1158 lay over until tomorrow, March 13th.
Motion is to lay House Bill 1158 over till March 13th. All those opposed say aye. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The ayes have it. It will be laid over till March 13th. Mr. Carpenter, please read the title of Senate Bill 174.
Senate Bill 174 by Senator Donovan, concerning a change in management responsibility of certain existing display space in the Colorado Convention Center available for the promotion of the state.
Senator Donovan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move Senate Bill 174 and the associated committee report.
To the committee report, Senator Donovan.
The committee report reflected some amendments that we did. We needed to do those amendments because as the bill was originally drafted, which we will discuss further, when we drafted it, we could not find the contract that it was referencing. We found the contract, so then amended the bill to reflect those changes.
Is there any further discussion on the committee report? Seeing none, the motion before the body is the adoption of the State Veterans and Military Affairs Committee report. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The ayes have it. The committee report is adopted. To the bill, Senator Donovan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Senate Bill 174, it has a little bit of a history lesson in it. which I will be brief about. Originally, when we were building the Colorado Convention Center, it was going to get money from the state and be supported by we can probably oversimplify and say taxpayer dollars. Part of that agreement was that it then needed to promote more of the state than just the Denver area, since Denver was going to be the primary beneficiary of the convention center that was going to be located in their city limits. One of those agreements was that we would call it the Colorado Convention Center. Another one of those agreements is that they would dedicate some space within the building to promote all of Colorado. The original agreement and contracted pointed to the Department of Personnel to manage that space. And by manage that space, it's largely picking pretty pictures of Colorado to put up on the wall. The Department of Personnel and the Department of Economic Development have requested that we instead shift that responsibility over to economic development. They are the more appropriate department to work on the promotion of Colorado. And that is what this bill does, just shifts the responsibility from Department of Personnel to the Office of Economic Development to run the program and work with the city of Denver to make sure that the Colorado Convention Center is promoting areas of the state outside of Denver. There is a clarification that we need to make.
And there is an amendment at the desk. Mr. Carpenter, will you please read L003?
Amendment L003, symbol 174 by Senator Donovan.
Senator Donovan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move L003.
Please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I ask for your support on L003. In the final reading of the bill, the drafter astutely caught that we were adding language and an aspect of the bill that actually talks about the history of how we got here. So we want to take out that language because we need that section to reflect the history, not additive language. So L003 strikes the language of outdoor recreation that we added to a paragraph that's focusing on history, not future. Ask for your aye vote on L003.
Is there any further discussion on L003? Seeing none, the question before the body is the adoption of L003. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The ayes have it. L003 is adopted. To the bill.
Thank you, Mr.
Senator
Chair. I move renew my motion for Senate Bill 174 and ask for your aye vote.
Senator Gardner.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I thank the senator from Vail for bringing this very important and critical bill on changing the management of state convention display space. You know, many of you who've been around me at all know that I take a very dim view of the delegation of legislative powers to the executive branch and think we've done that too much. But you know, on the other hand, when you look at the fact that we've got a statute that tells the executive branch who's going to manage convention space, you got to ask yourself. I'm sure, almost certain, I don't know positively, but knowing how these things work, I feel like what happened was one or more departments came to the senator from Vail and said, we need to do this because OEDIT ought to be managing this, not DPA, and that does make sense, by the way. And so we passed a bill to do that, but I wonder if it wouldn't have been better if we just passed a bill and said, you know, the executive branch can decide which of their departments is going to manage convention space. And then if we needed to control that, we could control it by appropriations by removing a half FTE from one department in terms of money and putting it over in the other. But I'm going to be an eye on the bill because I don't want to stand in the way of the executive branch exercising its power. I just hope that when this happens and we put it in statute, I just hope that they put something in writing over in the executive branch about it. But that might take several days for them to do. But I hope they will.
Is there any further discussion on Senate Bill 174? Seeing none, the question before the body is the adoption of Senate Bill 174. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The ayes have it. Senate Bill 174 is adopted. Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move the committee rise and report.
The question is before the body is to rise and report. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed no. The committee will rise and report.
The Senate will come to order. Senator Foote.
Thank you, Mr. President. The committee has met and had a bill under consideration. Will the clerk please read the report?
Mr. President, your committee will begs lead reports that are serious and following attached bills being second reading thereof makes following recommendations. Number 1, Senate Bill 174 is amended passed second read order gross and placing on for the reading and final passage. House Bill 1158 laid over until 3/13/20 retaining its place on the calendar.
Senator Foote.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the report.
The motion is the adoption of the committee of the whole report. Are there any no votes? With a vote of 34 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, 1 excused, the committee of the whole report is adopted. Senate Bill 174 is amended, passed on second reading, and ordered and gross and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. House Bill 1158 laid over until 3/13/2020 and retaining its place on the calendar. Consideration of memorials. Will the clerk please read the title to Senate Memorial 001?
Memorial 1 by Senator Bridges and Scott, memorializing Congress to repeal the federal law establishing the annual advancement of time known as daylight saving time and leave the United States on standard time year-round.
Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move Senate Memorial 001 lay over until tomorrow, March 13th.
The motion is to lay over Senate Memorial 001 until 3/13/20. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed no. The ayes have it, and Senate Memorial 001 will be laid over until 3/13/2020 and retain its place on the calendar. Mr. Majority Leader.
You guys ready? Thank you, Mr. President. Members, in talking with the minority leader, he had a great suggestion of bringing up tomorrow's consent calendar on special orders just so we can start clearing some things. And then I took a closer look and realized 2 of the 3 bills are his. And the president's. So we are going to do that. And just hopefully clear those 3 bills that are on tomorrow's consent calendar. We're not bringing up the general order seconds, just the ones on consent. So we're not going to print off anything because I think everyone's got it. It's just on your second page. Mr. President, I move that the Senate take up House Bills 1145, 1133, 1077 on special orders at the hour of 9:57 a.m.
The motion is that the Senate take up House Bill 1145, House Bill 1133, and House Bill 1077 on special orders at the hour of 09:57. The motion requires a 2/3 vote. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed no. The ayes have it, and that motion is adopted. The Senate will take up those bills listed on special orders at the hour of 09:57. Special orders. Second reading of bills. Senator Foote.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate resolve itself into the Committee of the Whole for consideration of special orders, second reading of bills, consent calendar.
You have heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed no. The ayes have it, and the Senate will resolve itself into the Committee of the Whole for the consideration of special orders, second reading of bills. And Senator Foote will take the chair.
The committee will come to order and the code rule is relaxed for everyone. Will the clerk please read the title of all the bills on the special orders, second reading of bills, consent calendar?
House Bill 1145 by Representative McKean, Senators Holbrook and Garcia, concerning the safety consequences of a driver passing an official vehicle that displays a warning light. House Bill 1133 by Representatives Crabthorpe and McKean, Senator Tate, concerning land use entitlements affecting real property that has been disconnected from a municipality. House Bill 1077 by Representatives Rich and Valdez D. and Senator Holbrook, concerning the modification of various provisions regarding the responsibilities of the county treasurer.
Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move for the passage of all the bills on the general order, second reading of bills, special order, second reading of bills, consent calendar, and their associated committee reports, which includes House Bill 1145, House Bill 1133, along with the local government committee report, and House Bill 1077.
Is there any discussion on any of the committee reports on the special orders consent calendar? The motion before the body is the adoption of all the committee reports on the special orders, second reading of bills, consent calendar. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The ayes have it, and the committee reports are adopted. Is there any discussion on any of the bills on the special orders, second readings, consent calendar? Seeing none, the motion before the body is the adoption of all the bills on the special orders, second reading of bills, consent calendar. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The ayes have it, and the bills are adopted. Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move the committee rise and report.
The motion is for the committee to rise and report. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The ayes have it. The motion is adopted. The committee will rise and report.
The Senate will come to order. Senator Foote.
Thank you, Mr. President. The committee has considered a number of bills. Will the clerk please read the bills?
Mr. President, your committee will likely report that consideration of following tax bills being second reading there. Makes the following recommendations are 1. House Bill 1145, House Bill 1133 is amended. House Bill 1077 passes second read order, revised place account for the reading and final passage.
Senator Foote.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the report.
The motion is for the adoption of the committee whole report. Are there any no votes? With a vote of 34 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, 1 excused, the committee of the whole report is adopted. House Bill 1145, House Bill 1133 as amended, House Bill 1077 passed on second reading, ordered, revised, and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. Message from the governor.
Wednesday, March 11, 2020, Colorado Senate. Honorable members of the Colorado Senate, pursuant to the authority vested in the office of the governor of the state of Colorado, I've honored to inform you that I've approved and filed with the Secretary of State the following acts. Senate Bill 25, Conservancy District Board Arts and Beautification Projects, approved on Wednesday, March 11, 2020 at 11:25 a.m. Senate Bill 37, Trusted Interoperability Platform Advisory Committee, approved on Wednesday, March 11, 2020 at 11:28 a.m. Senate Bill 43, Advil Network Provider Reimbursement Rate, approved on Wednesday, March 11, 2020 at 11:30 a.m. Senate Bill 47, Financial Institution Agent Analysis Not Real Estate Appraisal, approved on Wednesday, March 11, 2020 at 11:29 a.m. Senate Bill 48, Study Strengthening Water Anti-Speculation Law, approved on Wednesday, March 11, 2020 at 11:29 a.m. Senate Bill 63, Recodify Statutes Concerning Department of Law, approved on Wednesday, March 11, 2020 at 11:26 a.m. Senate Bill 69, Disabled Veterans Free State Park Access, approved on Wednesday, March 11, 2020 at 11:24 a.m. Senate Bill 113, Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment Health Facility License Requirements, approved on Wednesday, March 11, 2020 at 11:29 a.m. Sincerely, Chair Polis, Governor.
Announcements. Senator Janot.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Senate Local Government Committee will meet in 15 minutes. In our usual room, we're hearing one bill, 1042. Thanks.
Senator Moreno.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, today is a special day. It's a day in acknowledgement of the importance of refugees in our communities. And today there will be a panel of 4 speakers from the Refugee Speakers Bureau who will be talking a little bit about Colorado's tradition of welcoming refugees who are rebuilding their lives in our communities, including how many refugees come to Colorado each year, where they're coming from, and what services and supports are available to our newest neighbors. That panel will occur at noon in Senate Committee Room 357. I hope you can join us.
Senator Winter.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senate Transportation will be meeting 15 minutes upon adjournment in our regular room 352. We will be doing the hearing for Megan Gilman to the PUC and House Bill 1225 and House Bill 1178. Look forward to seeing you soon.
Senator Sensinger.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Senate Appropriations Committee will be meeting tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. in LSB B. We will be hearing House Bill 1109, House Bill 1135, House Bill 1153, House Bill 1345, Senate Bill 1, Senate Bill 5, Senate Bill 7, Senate Bill 9, Senate Bill 19, Senate Bill 22, Senate Bill 29, Senate Bill 35, Senate Bill 41, Senate Bill 51, Senate Bill 55, Senate Bill 89, Senate Bill 107, Senate Bill 118, Senate Bill 127, Senate Bill 159, and Senate Bill 185.
Senator Gonzalez.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members of the Senate Finance Committee, we will be meeting upon adjournment in Senate Committee Room 357, and we will be considering the 3 bills printed on your calendar. See you then.
Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. We likely will have a couple of bills to read across. Folks do not need to be here. I move that the Senate recess until 10:30 a.m. today.
You have heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the motion is adopted. The Senate will stand in recess until 10:30 today.